No regrets. No regrets.
No regrets.
Welcome to Major League Baseball on ESPN in steamy Atlanta tonight at Truist Park, home of the reigning World Series champion Atlanta Braves, who are ready for a meeting with the St. Louis Cardinals and a matchup between two of the top teams in the National League. And hey, we've got Brian Snitker bobbleheads. Yeah, just in time for this one here today. With that, we say hello and thanks for joining us. Alex Rodriguez, Mike Monaco with you. Buster Olney joins us in a moment. And Alex, let's start with the Cardinals for really the first half of this season. They've jockeyed back and forth with the Brewers.
They have, and they're doing exactly what they've done the last 2 decades. This is an organization that's played over 3,500 games, and only 24 of those have meant nothing. So they're used to being in the middle of the pack, and they're used to being right where they're at, and they're going to make their move right after the All-Star break.
When you talk about the way their roster is constructed, how about the elite corner infield duo? They've got Nolan Arenado, of course, at third, and Paul Goldschmidt at first.
I mean, this is a dream combo, right? Combined, they have 13 Gold Gloves. They lead the category offensively, top 5 in pretty much every category. But these are the guys that if you're a young kid, you want to follow Arenado, you want to follow Goldschmidt. We'll talk about them. They're having a phenomenal year, and these young kids have great role models.
Yeah, they really do. And you talk about cornerstones and leaders and, oh yeah, production as well from both.
Absolutely, and they do it on both sides. And again, they're doing it with the leadership. But what I like about St. Louis, they're very comfortable where they're at right now. And they're going to make the move. If anybody expects them to go away, they're going to be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. They go up against the Braves in this one, who have taken the first 2 games of this 4-game series. And that continues what the Braves have done since the start of June, when they've been the best team in baseball.
It's incredible. The Braves are taking the role of the underdog again. Last year, they snuck into a World Series with 88 wins. And somehow, as defending world champions, they're doing it again, with the story being the New York Mets everywhere. The Braves have gone about their business quietly, methodically, and they're right where they want to be, just a few games out.
Yeah, you saw how much ground they have made up. We were chatting with Marcelo Zuna, and he knows the number. They know, and the Mets are coming to town here at the end of this homestand for the Braves. And talking to you the last few days, I know you've been really excited to get a firsthand look at Ronald Acuna Jr. now that he's healthy off the torn ACL. I
mean, what a dream player. I mean, he has the swag of you name it, but he's got the power of Hank Aaron. He's got a shotgun bazooka like Clemente. He runs with the wind, but the combination of a 24-year-old with power and eagle eye discipline at the plate, but the one tool that just jumps off the page is his confidence. Mike, I've never seen a player this young, along with Albies, that have so much confidence at this age.
Yeah, and check out the company that he is in, what he did a few seasons ago. Almost joined you in that 40-40 club.
Like I said, he's better than me.
Well, you talk about what this Braves group has done. You got to start with their shortstop as well, Dansby Swanson. And for more on him, we go down to Buster.
Yeah, guy, Dansby Swanson on May 11th was batting .223, and that was about the time that he got 2 screenshots texted to him by a trusted friend in baseball. One screenshot was actually from last July and August when Dansby was going great, and the other was from April when he was struggling so badly. And what it showed to Dansby was his timing was off. He said he knew right away, as soon as he saw the pictures, what the problem was. He made the adjustment. And guys, since then, he's hitting .342. He's got a slugging percentage of .571. Alex, you'll love this. He's driving the ball to right center field. He's playing great. And in fact, he's one of 2 finalists for the starting shortstop in the National League, the other being Trey Turner. And boy, what great timing for Dansby, because he's headed to free agency in the fall, along with a great free agent class. Carlos Correa, if he opts out of his Twins deal. Xander Bogaerts, if he opts out of his deal with the Red Sox. And, of course, Trey Turner. And the question is, with these 4 cities, big contenders, going to be looking for shortstop in the offseason, where will each of these guys land? The Red Sox, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and, of course, the Atlanta Braves. Guys, where do you think Dansby's going to wind up? Where do you think Xander Bogaerts is going to wind up?
Well, I'll tell you, my bet is that Swanson ends up here. He's a hometown kid. He played basketball in high school. Talking to Snitker today, he loves his work ethic, his makeup. He said he's gotten stronger, and what surprises him, Buster, is how he hits the ball to right center field with power. But, Buster, I like what you just mentioned, because that's something that early on in my career, Edgar Martinez talked about endlessly. You have to be on time. Get that foot down. You can't make productive contact consistently with being late. Great adjustment.
Yeah, he has put up big-time numbers. You heard about the adjustment he made, and seeing those images side by side and how that spurred him. And, yeah, he has been as good as it gets as far as shortstops go in Major League Baseball this season. Well, we have gotten this far in this lengthy preamble to start the game without talking about the pitching tonight. And how about this matchup, Alex? Each team throws a stud. That is Miles Mikolas, of course, the Cardinals right-hander. It's a career-best ERA for him this season at 2.61.
I love this. This is the part of baseball that I love the most, the old-school heavyweight fights, right? And Mikolas is going to give you a little bit of everything. Here he throws almost a no-hitter. This is 129th pitch, and he almost gets it. Oh, man, look at the emotion. And the fans at the Cardinals going crazy. But I got to tell you, this guy, he's the complete package. He's a competitor. He's going to give you 5 pitches. His average fastball is 94, 95 miles an hour. But he's going to pitch off his secondary like a finesse pitcher. And you'll see tonight, he'll get some sneaky strikeouts up in the zone. The 93 fastball will look like 98.
You see the combined numbers for Cardinals starting pitching between him and the veteran Adam Wainwright, but elsewhere is where the questions are for St. Louis in the rotation.
Yeah, and look, the Cardinals always figure out a way. Whoever says, oh, they feel bad for the Cardinals know how to win. It's in their DNA. They're going to go out and get the pieces. Somebody will come out of nowhere, like this Braves team. These two franchises understand winning as well as anybody in baseball.
Yeah, so Mikolas on one side. Then on the other side for the Braves, Max Fried, the left-hander, and quite simply, he has been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year, building off a couple of really good seasons.
Mike, it's easier to say what he can't do because he can pretty much do everything. He's got the Hollywood looks, Hollywood smile. He's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, curveball slider. The change this year, he's throwing the changeup about 15% of the time. That's been a great mix for him. He's also won 2 Gold Gloves. He's a silver slugger. What this guy is, he is with the franchise you build around, and last year he showed us that in the World Series.
So we got all this for star power tonight, and you saw him. Albert Pujols is in the starting lineup as well for the Cardinals. Game 3 of this series on the way. When we come back, Nicole Briscoe's in the studio. She'll get you caught up on all the highlights from around the big leagues.
Hey there, I'm Nicole Briscoe from the Bristol studios. We'll get you set for Game 3 between the Cardinals and the Braves in just a second. But first, we want to get you caught up on everything that's happened so far today, starting with the teams of my childhood, the Brewers and the Cubs. In Milwaukee, Corbin Burns on the mound for the Brewers, striking out Ian Happ to end the first inning. And then in the second, it's Burns, this time against Patrick Wisdom. Burns was on the mound for 7. He struck out 10. They were all scoreless. The run support came in the 5th. Keston Hiura to left field. The Brewers take a 1-0 lead over the Cubs. Then you've got Josh Hader on the mound in the 9th. The Cubs did tie it up in the 8th. And this is not caring about Josh Hader on the mound. It's P.J. Higgins doubling up. Patrick Wisdom's coming in to score, and it's 2-1. Brewers obviously had a chance to do something in the 9th, and not going to happen. The Cubs have won 4 of their last 6. They took 2 of 3 from the Brewers. The Brewers are still atop the NL Central, but their lead is now down to 2.5 over the Cardinals, who obviously you will see coming up in minutes against the Braves. How about the Tigers looking for a 4-game sweep against the Guardians? It's 1-0, runner on second. It's Cody Clemens singling to right. Score 1, and we're going to tie it up at 1. Bottom of the 5th, it's now tied at 2. Javi Baez is up. Baez, bat on ball. That goes to right. That's an RBI. And the Tigers take their first lead of the game. It's now 3-2. And what did Miggy do last night? Miguel Cabrera, coming off a 3-hit game, does this now. He's got runners on second and third. There are 2 outs. He doesn't care. Singles to right. It's now 5-2, and they would build from there. Bottom of the 8th we go. Tigers now up 7-2. That's Clemens again. Clemens now leaving. Gone. The homer to right. It was 7-2. Now make it 8-2. Tigers win 8-2, and that is a 4-game sweep. The Tigers haven't done that to Cleveland since 2013. Twins and White Sox, an absolute barn burner on the south side. Eloy Jimenez, welcome back. Bottom of the 4th. Haven't seen him in a game since April the 23rd. He's got a runner on first. His team's down 3-1. Not anymore. He's like, hey, remember me? Tied up with that home run. 3 for you, 3 for you. White Sox would go down again, though, in this game. It's 5-3 in the 5th. Luis Robert ties it up again. It's another 2-run homer. You might want to start counting. So now we're tied 5-5 after 5. Tied again, top of the 7th, Jorge Polanco. He already homered in the 5th. So he's just Britneying it up. Oops, I did it again. It's now 6-5. Twins take the lead. White Sox, again, down by 2. Andrew Vaughn. It's another game-tying 2-run homer. It's now 8-8. We'd go scoreless in the 9th, so we go to extras. White Sox got a couple of runners on. Larry Garcia. Everyone get home safely. The Sox get the win 9-8 for their first win of this season against the Twins. And if you're taking a look at the AL Central right now, after the Twins and the Cardinals both lost, that's how we're looking. The White Sox are going to remain at home for a 4-game set against the Tigers this weekend. How about the Blue Jays and the A's? Bottom of the 6th, no score, no one on. Ramon Laureano to center. The A's strike first. It is now 1-0. Like the yellow shirt matches me. The Jays are going to strike last, though. It's still 1-0 A's, top of the 7th. Blue Jays, Matt Chapman just leaving. Deep to left and gone. Blue Jays now tie at 1-1. Then top of the 8th, Bo. Here to untie things, Bo Bichette. Remember when the Blue Jays had lost 5 straight? They do. What you hear is that snapping. Jays beat the A's 2-1. And a game that just got underway. It's the Angels and Marlins. You got Shohei Ohtani on the mound, but you got Mike Trout at the plate doing absolutely nothing. That's his 12th strikeout in 5 games. Ohtani also nothing. We go to the Marlins' turn. Joey Wendell, bat on ball. That's good for a double. The Marlins would later score on a sac fly. It is right now 2-1. Bottom of the 2nd. We'll keep track on that as the night continues. Those are all of the games that are either about to start are already underway, and we will keep you honest on what's going on between the Yankees and the Pirates. That's currently in a rain delay. Rangers and Orioles, Rays and Red Sox. But of course, you are here to see Game 3 between the Cardinals and the Braves. That man, second in NL All-Star voting at the moment. That's coming up. So is the game. First pitch coming your way next, right here.
We welcome you back to Truist Park in Atlanta, ready to go between the Cardinals and the Braves, and that looks pretty comfortable on a hot one here in Atlanta. You heard Nicole say it, third game of this four-game series. So far, the Braves have won the first two, 6-3 on Monday, 7-1 yesterday. And so the Cards bat here in the first for first-year manager Ollie Marmol, and this is his starting lineup. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Tommy Edman back into the leadoff spot, followed by Dylan Carlson. The corner infielders, we mentioned Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. And Alex, you see at the bottom, a top 10 offense in terms of runs per game.
Absolutely, led by Arenado and Goldschmidt. I mean, by far the guy that can lead the National League in MVP. He's led the way the whole way from the start, 340, 19 bombs and 65 ribbies, and has just been delight on both sides of the ball.
He's been tremendous, and so too has been Max Fried, who the Cardinals go up against in this one, the 28-year-old from California who's got a 2.66 ERA. You see it is 16 starts in over 100 innings.
Yeah, he is the total package, arguably the best left-hander in our game today. 28 years old. He's got an overhand fastball, curveball, slider, and the big change, as we mentioned, the changeup from 2% to about 15%, and that's doing two things: is speeding batters up and is slowing them down. Is a much tougher bat against a 2022 Max Fried.
Yeah, his first start of the season was rocky, gave up a couple then in his second start of the year, but since then, lights out, and again, quite simply, one of the best pitchers in this sport. Check out the defense for Atlanta behind him, left to right. It's Eddie Rosario, Michael Harris, and Ronald Acuna Jr. In the infield, it's Riley, Swanson, Arcia, and Olsen. And Travis d'Arnaud does the catching, working in tandem with Max Fried. Felt like we were hosting like late night talk show.
A little Johnny Carson. Yeah, a little Johnny Carson for you, Jalen. Now, Mike, let me understand this. You went to Notre Dame.
Sure did.
I sit on the board at the University of Miami. So Catholic and convicts actually can work together. Here we go.
They can coexist, at least for an open. first 10 minutes or so. We'll see how the night unfolds on a hot one here in Atlanta.
He didn't tell me, but I guess he's from Thursday side.
So we told you, first couple of games in this series have gone to the Braves, who have been lights out in the last month and change. 21 wins in June and 25-7 since the start of the month, as we are underway as Fried deals to Tommy Edman. Boy, Tommy Edman could be in line for his first career All-Star berth. He's put together a fantastic first half of the season. Gets the nod at second, but of course has played a lot of shortstop as well, with Paul DeYoung still down in the minor leagues for St. Louis. Switch hitter fares very well against lefties. Takes a strike on the fastball at 94.
1-2.
I love the way the lineup is set up. Two speedster contact guys, switch hitters at the top of the order, followed by the sluggers.
On a 1-2, that comes inside with a breaking ball. And offense last night for St. Louis, that with that construction struck first in the ball game, but then the Braves promptly responded in the home half of the first. Full count.
Two.
Fried's payoff pitch is on the ground left side at Austin Riley, who shuffles and throws out Edman for the first out of the night. We were talking pregame down in the dugouts, and when you check out the starting pitching matchup, you think it's a night where both guys could get pretty deep into the ball game.
Yeah, you look at this and you won't be surprised if both guys go into the 7th inning. Both guys, 2 out of 9 pitchers that have gone more than 100 innings pitched. So 2 workhorses out there.
And Fried now faces Dylan Carlson, center fielder and another switch hitter for St. Louis.
You'll see Max Fried not from the windup, from the stretch. And the reason why pitchers do this sometimes is to simplify their delivery. A lot of guys have the traditional over-the-top wind-up. Max Fried has decided, you know what, less is more, tight, and watch how tight he is delivering this ball to the plate.
He gets ahead 0-2. You often think of that as leading to repeatability, right, for a pitcher?
Absolutely, and you see it right there. Reminds me of a young Steve Avery.
Love it.
Yeah. 6'4", tall, lanky. When you look at a pitcher in the dictionary, it looks like Max Fried.
0-2, and he strikes out Carlson. 2 down.
Good cutter here. 87 miles an hour. And sometimes you get a hitter on the speed, not on the location. That was the case right there. Good matchup here.
That's a pitch that has been nasty for Max Fried this season. 2 down, it brings up Paul Goldschmidt.
And Mike, that's exactly why a guy like Max Fried can neutralize right-handed hitters. He's equally as tough on righties as he is on lefties. It's because that pitch, the neutralizer, is that cutter slider in. And again, we talked about more changeups.
Well, Goldschmidt drives the 1-0 in the air toward right center field, and Acuna can't get there. Goes all the way to the wall, and Paul Goldschmidt has a 2-out double here in the top of the first.
Yeah, saw Goldie earlier in the clubhouse studying film on Fried. Here's a fastball, 93, top of the zone. Nothing wrong can go that short and tight to the baseball, and that ball just explodes past Acuna.
And that's not an unfamiliar place to find Paul Goldschmidt when it comes to the clubhouse and the preparation that he puts in.
I mean, he is known as probably the most prepared guy in the game. And we'll talk a little bit about that throughout the game, but it's fascinating. Reminds me a lot of Edgar Martinez's routine.
Well, he's aboard with 2 outs. You're in the top of the first. And now Nolan Arenado out of the cleanup spot, the third baseman. Part of a number of third basemen in baseball this year just having elite seasons, from Machado to Arenado and Devers and Ramirez. He skies this one into center, and Michael Harris is there to put it away and leave Goldschmidt at second. A 0 from Max Fried out of the gates here in Atlanta. Brian Snitker's offense is 4th in baseball in runs per game, and here's his starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Ronald Acuna Jr. at the top, and then Dansby Swanson having a wonderful season.
Wonderful indeed, Mike, and he's hitting .342 since May 11th, but he's hitting with power, he's driving in runs, he's having good, solid at-bats, and he's playing gold glove defense.
He is one of the guys who has double-digit home runs for the Braves. You saw they have 124 of them, second most in baseball. And they go up against another one of those 100-inning guys, like you said, Miles Michaelis, having an excellent year.
Yeah, he's a bulldog, 6'4", 230 pounds. He has all 5 pitches. He has the fastball, the slider, the curveball, the change, and the cutter. Feels his position well. He's going to compete, and he's pitching to contact. The league only hitting .211 when they make contact. So contact early is a good thing for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Michaelis having an even better year ERA-wise than when he was an All-Star back in 2018. Starts with a breaking ball out of the zone to Ronald Acuna Jr. It was right around this time last year, 2 days before the All-Star break, the torn ACL. And it is good to see him back healthy, as he has been here over the last couple of months. And he's been running a lot, stealing bags these last few games.
You know, sometimes things happen for a reason. You get an injury early on in your career.
Grounds one up the middle. End of the shift, he is frustrated. And Tommy Edman throws him out.
And sometimes you get an injury like he did. And talking to the coaches, here's a little frustration here. Got a pitch he thought he can handle. And just rolled right over it, slipped a little bit. He's gotten beat up a little bit with that foul ball off his left foot. But anyways, Mike, when you think about a kid like this who's got so much talent, he gets injured. Talking to some of the coaches down there, they said because of that, he got in the weight room. He fell in love with the weight room. He's gotten a lot stronger, a lot more flexible. And as a result, the ball's jumping even more if he needed more help.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. He's out number 1 here at the bottom of the first. And now Dansby Swanson. He's got the career-high OPS at 860. Swings through a fastball there, and it's 1-1. Already 14 home runs for Swanson. Let's go down to Buster.
Yeah, guys, that Ronald Acuna Jr. injury last year, of course, remembered the Braves players being so down after that injury, but that led to some important moments in the 2021 Atlanta Braves, and that was General Manager Alex Anthopoulos feeling like he had to demonstrate to his players, look, we can't give up. And so they went out and traded for Jock Peterson and Stephen Vogt, and then the other outfielders that followed, and those guys wound up being difference-making as they went on to win the World Series.
Swanson skies this one into the corner and left, but foul off his bat. Yeah, a vote of confidence, and what a finish it was down the stretch in the regular season, setting in motion, of course, the World Series run for Atlanta. Three and two the count on Swanson as Michaelis deals and gets a ground ball left side. It's Edmundo Sosa at short. Two ground ball outs for Michaelis.
And with the Braves, it's business as usual. I remember as a kid growing up watching them on TBS, and whether it's 95, 05, or 2022, whether it's John Sherholzer, Bobby Cox, or Snit, you name it, they know how to draft them, they know how to develop them, they know who to trade, and more importantly, Mike, who to keep. And they're as good as anybody in baseball, and Alex Anthopoulos, one of the best executives in baseball, proved it again last year.
And they've got the record this year at 48 and 34, second in the NL East, fifth best record in baseball. They've got two outs, no one on here in the bottom of the first, scoreless with the Cardinals. And one of the newcomers, Matt Olson. How about 32 doubles already for Matt Olson?
On pace for something like 65 doubles. And by the way, talking to the guys this afternoon, they said he's doing good, but not great. He's going to get better and better and getting more comfortable each and every day.
Well, he lines out here to Yepes and right, and a 1-2-3 they go against Miles Michaelis in the bottom of the first.
We are scoreless between the Braves and the Cardinals, but we are not scoreless here. And Nick Senzel is absolutely feasting on the Mets. Mets and Reds, bottom of the second. That's Senzel's third homer this season, but his second this series. Reds lead the Mets 2-1 in the third.
All right, Nicole, yeah, after a thriller late yesterday, despite the start from Max Scherzer. And Buster, you were talking to some of the Braves about the Mets coming to town soon.
Yeah, and they're excited to play the Mets, and not in the feeling of, yeah, we're definitely going to beat them. It's more like the Mets have been leading the division, and the Mets are trying to take away from what the Braves won last year, and the Braves are ready to defend the turf. They're fired up to begin the series of games against New York.
Buster, I agree. We had Acuna on the day after he hurt his foot, and we had him on the K-Rod show. He told Michael and I couldn't believe, I was doing a little translation. He said, look, we're simply better than the Mets. And Michael said, well, how so? He said, well, pitching-wise, you know, we're hurt, they're hurt. When all is healthy, I'll take our chances. And offensively, it's not even close. We're a better offensive team, and we can't wait to face them.
Yeah, that'll be fun for sure. Right now, the Cardinals in town. They're batting here in the top of the second with Juan Yepez in the 5 spot, the right fielder, followed by the man you saw, Albert Pujols, against Max Fried. Yepez, a guy who was originally in the Braves organization. Oh, faults this one to left, back toward the line, and Eddie Rosario at the track for the first down. Yepez has been excited for this series against his former organization.
Oh yeah, he's giddy.
Well, he's out number 1, and now the crowd welcomes in Albert Pujols. In there is the DH in the 6th spot in Ollie Marmol's lineup. And ball 1 from Fried.
Yeah, the mentor following the mentee here, and still a tough time to see a little bit here in your first at bat. The batter eye still has a little sun on it, and especially with anything secondary. You talked about the curveball, the slider, the changeup. Much tougher to hit than the fastball that Goldie hit for a double in the first.
Fried is ready with his 1-1 to Pujols. Off the end of the bat, base hit left field. Drops it down behind Riley, and it's a 1-out single for Pujols. Hey, Sunday we'll have the Yankees and Red Sox. That one starts 7 Eastern, 6 Central here on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage starts 6 Eastern, 5 Central with baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. Michael K and some guy named A-Rod, they will have their K-Rod presentation over on ESPN2.
Wishing Michael K good wishes.
Yes.
He's recovering from COVID. We heard good news. He tested negative and is ready to go. Mike was such a gamer, Mike. He said, hey, I can do the game tonight. And we said, no. Let's not risk it, travel and all of that. But we're waiting for you, Michael, and get well. See you, buddy.
Edmundo Sosa flies out to Acuna on the first pitch. There's 2 gone. And so that means what? He missed out on Nelly in particular.
He did miss out Nelly, and Nelly is a huge Cardinals fan. I think he should be one of the chief entertainment officers for baseball. I mean, the way he talked about the Cardinals, his love for the '85 Cardinals with Ozzie Smith and Tommy Hearn and Clark and Willie McGee, it was fascinating. And we were geeking out a little bit on how much we love baseball and Cardinals. I, of course, grew up a Mets fan going up against the Cardinals, and that was some of the best baseball ever.
Kevin Counters, he was loving his Nelly time as well.
I mean, Kevin crushed it. He did very, very well. Carried me for 9 innings.
2 down here in the second, and Brendan Donovan skies this one toward left center. It chases Rosario back to make the catch, and the inning is over. 3 fly ball outs induced by Max Fried in a 9-pitch second inning. No score in Atlanta. Braves coming up in the bottom of the second. And at one point, they were 10.5 games behind in the division at the start of June. But you see what they've done the last 32 games since the start of June. 25 wins in there.
They're unbelievable. And again, playing the underdog is, you hardly ever say a defending champ is an underdog. But that was their role last year, and it continues to be this year. All the headlines are all New York Mets, but they're going about their business methodically, and they're in a good place. Business as usual.
They've got Austin Riley leading off here against Miles Michaelis in the bottom of the second. Riley, Travis d'Arnaud, and Marcell Ozuna against Michaelis, who needed just a dozen pitches in a 1-2-3 first. Time called before his 0-2.
The Braves have balance all throughout their lineup. 1, 2, 3 have over 100 RBIs. 4, 5, 6 over 100 RBIs. 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's really impressive. A mature team, the only team in baseball with 7 guys with 10 home runs or more.
That's pretty historic, too, to do that before the All-Star break.
That's right.
Weak roller towards second, and Tommy Edman throws out Austin Riley. So 4 up, 4 down for Michaelis here in Atlanta.
And that's not even including Acuna, who's been hurt, only has 7. So here come the Braves.
Up and down, one of the best offenses in all of baseball. Well, in terms of production from their catchers, it's as good as it gets. The best OPS for catchers in all of baseball between what this guy, Travis d'Arnaud, and William Contreras have done with the bat this year. Time was called before that first pitch from Miles Michaelis, working quickly. And Ollie Marmol doesn't like it.
Yeah, and home plate umpire Carlos Torres, the 6-year veteran. Sometimes pitchers get really upset when they honor him timeout if it's too late. And Michaelis thought that was a little bit too late.
And now quickens up and misses with ball 1. Here it is again.
See, once the pitcher gets going, he thinks it's fair game. We should not stop him.
2-0 pitch, and that curls down and away. So 3-0 the count on d'Arnaud. And a 4-pitch walk. Fastball upstairs, and the first base runner for the Braves against Miles Michaelis. Well, Michaelis, personality-wise, he's always loose, even on the days he pitches. I love the way that Ollie Marmol put it to us today. He's super loose when he's not pitching, and he's just loose when he is pitching. And he is working with conviction, is what his manager said to us today as well. Now that he's healthy, of course. He made just 9 starts last season, didn't pitch in 2020. First pitch, breaking ball for a strike to Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna swinging it better his last 4 games. He's 5 for 16. Had the 2 home run games Sunday in Cincinnati, a couple of solo shots, and had a double yesterday in the Atlanta win.
Mike, we spent some time with him earlier today, talked a lot about he's feeling better, loves hitting at home, and he's starting to get his rhythm. Very confident group.
Stares at 0-2 that misses just a little bit low at 95.
1-2.
Yeah, my Spanish isn't as good as yours or his, but I heard confidence a few different times from him. 1-2 upstairs. Trying to get back to the way he was in the shortened 2020 season when he just mashed, won a Silver Slugger, came in 6th in the MVP voting. Runs the count full.
Little cat and mouse. Michaelis has him 0-2, then 3-2, 3 consecutive fastballs. If you're Osuna here, maybe you're looking for a little wrinkle, maybe a little slider, breaking ball.
On the payoff. He struck him out. Went back to the fastball on the outside part of the plate, and the first punch out for Michaelis.
And Osuna should not listen to me for looking breaking ball. He should have been looking fastball. But great pitch here, fastball 4 in a row, and freezes him. Michaelis is the epitome of pitching backwards, and what that means is on fastball counts, you throw breaking balls. On breaking ball counts, you throw fastballs. That sequence was a perfect example of that.
When a guy is so confident doing that, what does that do effect-wise to a hitter?
Well, you can't just attack like a predator. You have to hit with your foot on the brake. And what that means, you just can't be reckless in attack, because a guy like that, he's going to slow you down. And when he slows you down enough, just like that 3-2 fastball, boom, 94. It looks like a dart right by you to an excellent, supreme fastball hitter.
For a big second out, and now he quickly gets ahead of Eddie Rosario, 0-2. Rosario in just his 3rd game back, came off the IL Monday, had the corrective laser eye surgery, cleaned up his vision problems.
And if you're the Braves, everything seems perfect, but there's room for improvement. You can get a little healthier. Osuna hitting somewhere in the low 220s. Rosario just getting started after coming back, hitting, 096. So the Braves are very good, but when you talk to that group, they're just getting started. They're poised to continue this run they're on.
Yeah, they hope to have some of the other injured guys returning soon. Same with the Cardinals, for that matter. This is rolled to first, and off a bobble, Goldschmidt drops the tag down on Rosario. All's well that ends well for Paul Goldschmidt over at first. And d'Arnaud left the board in the second, thanks to the glove work from Goldie down the line. The final week of the 2022 Chevrolet MLB All-Star Ballot is here. Fans can now determine who will start in LA. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit MLB.com/vote to vote. And you can download the MLB app to get video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and a whole lot more for your favorite team and the rest of the league. Well, speaking of All-Stars and the odds-on favorite, at least at this point, for National League MVP, Paul Goldschmidt, did he come up funny here at all? Let's see.
Yeah, just favoring his left shoulder a little bit. Go over there, see the trainer. How you doing, big guy? I'm feeling pretty good. It's okay. It's hot. It's good. Better hot than cold. I'm good. Yeah, I just hit a nice double.
Yeah, and just as between innings, we said we got a little breeze blowing through here. We're just taunting Buster with that as he cooks down at field level.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, third inning on the way here in Atlanta. Cardinals with 9-1-2, starting with Andrew Kisner, the catcher, against Max Fried. Of course, St. Louis still without Yadier Molina, who's been on the IL since mid-June with the knee inflammation. Comes the 2-0 pitch. Bounced foul toward the St. Louis dugout.
Guys, don't you think that Paul Goldschmidt's one of those guys when he has a situation like that where he just not even going to engage the trainer? I mean, he just plays every single day.
Exactly.
Alex, you were one of those guys.
No doubt. And when the trainer comes to you, you just give them a bad look. They turn around and go the other way. There's a little smile. Love to see that. You know, Buster, he reminds me of the NBA version of Tim Duncan, the perfect basketball player. Popovich loved him. Goldie's a perfect Cardinal. He does everything well. He runs the bases well. He picks out the right wood. He plays gold glove defense. He's a role model for all these young players. And by the way, Marmol is younger than 3 of his players. They have a good thing going in St. Louis.
He just turned 36 years old on Saturday. 2-2 to Kisner, and he floats it foul.
You know, spending some time with him, Mike, I know that me, you, and Buster, we left really impressed. Really smart, had a great approach about the game. Feels like he has a good feel of the heartbeat of his team. Good communicator, and I'm excited.
Yeah. 44-39, the record for St. Louis. 2-2 to Kisner, and he spoils another from Fried. First-year manager. Of course, that is the objective, to reach the postseason. He'd be in some company in terms of age and a trip to the playoffs.
Well, I never bet against the St. Louis Cardinals. They have a way of figuring it out, especially in the second half of the season.
Oh, no.
Check swing.
And I love
full count.
Mike, I love the combination of the veteran players with the young stars that are coming up. Again, like the Braves, they know how to draft, they know how to develop, they know how to trade. And if you're a young player and you have Wino, you have Molina, you have Goldie, you have Arenado, you're surrounded by MBAs and PhDs all around you. What a way to learn.
Kisner lifts the 3-2 to left center. Michael Harris there, and there is one away. We go to the studio, and Nicole.
Very much. You guys have heard of the debut here of Brian Bayo, the touted prospect for the Red Sox, taking on the Rays. Didn't get off to a great start. That's Wander Franco doing what he's been doing for the last 9 games, hitting. He's settling in, but it is 1-0 Rays over the Red Sox. Mike?
Yeah, going up against Corey Kluber and those Rays, a guy who in Boston has generated a ton of buzz. Brian Bayo. Back to the top for Tommy Edman. Grounded to third, and he goes first pitch swinging behind second. Long way to go for Arcia, and can't get there. Edman dumps it in, and he's got a 1-out single here in the third. The third hit for St. Louis off Fried.
Little inside-out hitting here, fighting off a fastball in. Good things happen when you stay inside the baseball. You stay inside the baseball, you get some of those. If you roll over, usually ground ball to third, ground ball to short. Now here comes the switch hitter. The 1986 Cardinals had 6 switch hitters in their lineup. They never, Whitey Herzog never had to pinch hit. And he had the big Jack Clark in the middle.
How about a half dozen? Ollie Marmol's got 2 at the top of tonight's lineup. Edman and now Carlson. You always have to watch out for Max Fried's pickoff move, one of the best in baseball.
I love the construction of a team that has 6 switch hitters. They can all defend. They can all run. They play the game the right way. Fun baseball.
Now, you and Buster were talking about the way the Cards run the bases and how it is taught, and then how it is emphasized as well by the leaders on this Cardinals team.
It's the Cardinal way, and it's something they've taken seriously for over a century, right? They go back in history as being one of the best base running teams in baseball. They also have 94 Gold Gloves in their history, 5 last year. So when you think about the Cardinals, it's synonymous with great baseball, good defense, good base running, and do all the little things. And these 2 guys at the top of the order are great examples of that.
Oh-2 on the way to Carlson is blocked by Darno. Carlson struck out on a slider swinging his first time against Fried back in the first. Max Fried's 1-2 is fouled back.
What's up? Thank you.
Talk about the switch hitters. Edman and Carlson both better as right-hand hitters against lefties. They are stacked top of the order. With Edman at first, 1 out in the third, no score. Another 1-2. Struck him out. Well, there's 2 down on the second strikeout of Carlson. That brings up Paul Goldschmidt, who has a lot of round numbers coming up on the horizon for him.
Yeah, 1 shy of 300, already with 1,000 runs. 143 stolen bases, 1 swing away from the big 300.
He doubled his first time to right center, came off his bat at 104 miles an hour against Fried.
Yeah, second pitch fastball. It'll be interesting how Fried attacks him this time. I think he'll come in cutters in, changeups away, and no fastballs away. So if you're a hitter, you can almost eliminate that pitch. Fastball in, changeup away. That's what I'm looking for.
Eliminate the fastball away.
Correct.
Fried's first is on the outside part of the plate, 98 away from Fried.
And that's a perfect pitch, 98 on the black.
Guy who sits 94-95 with his 4-seam fastball. Fouled back, 0-2. There he comes in.
Yeah, 97, right? So very often you see a pitcher hang around 94, 95, and here comes the best hitter, the potential MVP in Goldie, and he goes, okay, mano a mano, my best against yours.
And now what? Soft stuff away? You've
no,
shown him
I think he just keeps going with the heater. And elevate it. Fastball up, 97, 98.
On an 0-2. That's exactly what he tried to do right there at 98.
Now he's coming with the secondary pitch. Either he's going to come with a changeup or maybe a little slider, about 89, 90. Cutting in.
And we've seen the slider up to 91 this inning from Max Fried. 1-2 to Goldschmidt. Struck him out. Snapped off a hook. And Max Fried punches out 2 here in the top of the 3rd.
Uncle Charlie. 3 fastballs and this. That is not fair.
Back in Atlanta, still scoreless, talking with Braves manager Brian Snitker. What do you think winning the World Series did for Max Fried?
Probably should have gave him a lot of confidence. Just everything that he went through last year in the postseason, the big games that he played, the fact that he about got his ankle broken in Game 6 and came back and was really, really good, and he's a world champion.
Less than 2 weeks until the All-Star game. How much have you been digging into that in terms of rounding out your roster?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, honestly, I got my hands full with this right here. So I'm sure in the next week or so, after they announce the team, I'll do a little bit.
Thanks, Ned.
Thank you.
Back to you.
All right, Buster with Brian Snitker. And, yeah, talking about what the postseason did for Max Fried. He told our Sunday Night Baseball crew a few weeks ago that coming out of Game 2, he had some regrets. And so when it came to Game 6, he wanted to leave everything out there. And boy, did he, as Orlando Arcia grounds out to Edmundo Sosa for the first out in the bottom of the 3rd.
Very seldom you see a young pitcher get hit hard early in the World Series or in any series and then make an adjustment in Game 6. Buster, we were talking a little bit about sometimes you can get overwhelmed with data and analytics and you forget exactly what you're good at.
No, that's exactly right. We've seen so many examples of that in the postseason. That's what impressed me, Alex, to see Max so focused in that second time around in the World Series. And talking with Travis d'Arnaud today, the Braves catcher, he mentioned that they really felt like they paid too close attention to the scouting reports. And in that second start in the World Series, Max focused on what he felt like he does well.
That's right, and I love that. Don Mattingly used to always tell me, hey, forget about what he has. Go out there and compete. Choke up, get your shoulder in there, and hit it hard somewhere, right? And that's exactly what they did. They forgot about the numbers and just went out and did what they did best, and it was a beauty.
And he's parlayed it into a great season, just like Miles Michaelis this year, who's been excellent so far. He's generated 5 groundouts. He's got 1 away here in the last of the 3rd inning. And his 1-2 to Michael Harris is rolled foul, first base side. Harris, the 21-year-old, he is the youngest player in the big leagues this year.
Well, there's a buzz and an aura around this young man. And when you talk to the players and the people around the Braves, they talk about, they marvel at his attitude, his work ethic, his coachability. And when you start mentioning names like Andrew Jones near your name, that is a great compliment, especially around here in Atlanta.
He strikes out here on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Michaelis, who's got his second punch out, and there's 2 gone.
And that's a perfect example of Michaelis luring you to sleep a little bit with the secondary stuff. Ozuna with the strikeout, and now Harris again with the strikeout. Good fastball here. And both those strikeouts, you can see hitters are looking soft, and the fastball is right by you.
So the first time through for Miles Michaelis, excellent. No hits against him, just the 1-4 pitch walk issued to Travis d'Arnaud back in the second. Now back to the top for Ronald Acuna Jr. Grounded out his first time.
So I was in the batting cage earlier today talking to some of the players. I'm not going to mention the player, but I said, what makes Acuna so special? He said one word: confidence.
He oozes it. Nice play in the hole made by Edmundo Sosa. Throwing on the move and retiring Acuna. 1-2-3 for Miles Michaelis here in the third.
Back here in Atlanta with the Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol. We saw the exchange with the home plate umpire when Travis d'Arnaud was stepping out. Question of time or not, what'd you tell him?
At the end of the day, Miles works fast. They're trying to disrupt that rhythm. We talk about pace of play, get behind the plate, and just call the game.
What are you seeing of Miles tonight?
Miles is doing a good job. He's mixing as usual. 6 out of the 9 outs on the ground, 2 punch outs. Nice swing by Olsen, but overall doing what's expected.
All right, thanks. Back to you.
So he is both a proponent of pace of play, and he knows the out breakdown as well for Miles Michaelis, who's been excellent so far in these first 3 innings.
Also has a nice pace to his cadence. He speaks very fast. We like it. Both pitchers averaging about 13 pitches per innings. Nice and crisp. And a beautiful night for baseball.
Seriously. He knew it. A half dozen ground outs. Just 1 Braves ball out of the infield. Nolan Arenado pops to Matt Olson. And there's 1 away for the Cardinals batting here in the top of the 4th with no score. Well, brings up Juan Yepez, who flew to left his first time. We were talking about this earlier, how Ollie Marmol said to us that Yepez has taken it personal this series. He got traded during the 2017 season from the Braves to the Cardinals for Matt Adams. And then we were talking with Brian Snicker, and he said at some point this week, he looked out at Yepez and he said, hey, Are you the guy we traded? And Yepes said, yeah. And Brian Snicker said, we want you back.
Exactly. He was very impressed. Also talked about how impressed he was with his approach. And he said, hey, this guy moves pretty well. He runs pretty well for a big guy.
24-year-old from Venezuela. 6'1", 200 pounds. Lines it to second, right at Arcia. And there's 2 away. Let's go to the studio and Nicole.
Is anyone having a better, let's give it a month and a couple days, than Kyle Schwarber? 15 homers since June 1st. 2 last night. Here's another. Nats and Phillies now tied at 1 in Philadelphia. It's the bottom of the 4th.
Phillies 7 games behind the Mets with Aaron Nola on the mound, and Kyle Schwarber having another summer like he did last year.
And what a job by Rob Thompson, my former bench coach in the 2009 World Champs Yankees team, and Kevin Long, but happy for Rob Thompson. Spent 27 years with the Yankees. George Steinbrenner used to call him the Canadian. He treated him like a son, and he did every job from very small Tampa to all the way in the big leagues. And the Phillies, they're not going away.
4.5 behind the Braves. We're in second in the NL East. 1 to Albert Pujols is grounded past Riley. That's a fair ball, and it caroms off the sidewall. Pujols legs for second. Rosario's throw is not in time. Second hit of the night for Albert Pujols, and it's a 2-out double here in the 4th.
I mean, this guy can flat out hit. Another secondary pitch, whips it down the line. That's the easy part. Now here comes the hard part. Come on, Albert. Go, 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 go. Oh, baby. 42 years young.
5th all-time in doubles. He adds another with a home to second time. It felt faster than that.
You know, I'm so happy for Albert. What a great, great guy. Done so much for the community in St. Louis, back home in Dominican Republic. To see him back in the red uniform, right where he belongs, going straight to Cooperstown. Wow, what a career.
He's a guy who's been nominated, by the way, as a Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award finalist. And the winner of that will be announced at the ESPYs. And boy, Pujols in a number of different areas has done so much good with his platform.
And he'll be a Cardinal for the rest of his life. I can see him coming back spring training for many, many years.
Edmundo Sosa rolls out to Matt Olson, and Pujols, after all of that, left stranded at second. 9 pitches, that's all for Max Fried against Pujols and the Cardinals in the 4th. The MLB All-Star Game Starters Announcement Show is tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, with the full rosters announced then Sunday, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, right before Baseball Tonight's Sunday Night Countdown. Both of those on ESPN and the app. The All-Star Game, of course, July 19th at Dodger Stadium in L.A. Dansby Swanson certainly could be headed there. What a season he has had. 5th in Major League Baseball in WAR among all players. So he is right there in the conversation with Machado and Goldschmidt and Arenado and Devers. And by that metric, he's ahead of Aaron Judge even. Is 1-0 served into right. And Yepes with room on the track. And a fly ball out for Miles Michaelis to begin the bottom of the 4th. We go back to Nicole.
And Javier is on the mound for the Astros. Now, he gave up 1 run in his last start. It was a homer to Shohei Ohtani. Leadoff batter tonight for the Royals, Whit Merrifield, gone. But the Astros won Javier's last start. We'll see what happens tonight against the Royals. The game just underway. It's 1-0.
Now, Javier with a 2.58 ERA coming into tonight's start against Kansas City. So Swanson retired, and now Matt Olson, who lined to right his first time, didn't go there, getting a second look at Michaelis.
You know, spending time today with Snit, Braves manager, you see so much Bobby Cox in him. There's just a good feeling. You just want to hang around like it's just like it's a barbecue. You're just hanging out with a good friend. Oh, here comes.
Half swing roller to Arenado with a jump throw, and Goldschmidt stayed on the bag. Oh, what a play on both sides. Out number 2, at least for now.
Arenado had a little bit more time there. Had time to set his feet with Olsen running and just use that bazooka from one Gold Glover to another here. Oh, what a play. What a play.
Oh, man.
I mean, great shot there by our truck. 13 Gold Gloves between those two.
A big second out for Miles Michaelis, and Goldschmidt helping out his third baseman.
So talking about Arenado, his Major League Scouting report, great play there by Goldie. It read about Arenado: average third baseman, adequate defender, average feet, should be okay in the big leagues. Well, 9 gloves later, 4 platinum gloves later, and Brooks Robinson, who's considered the greatest defensive third baseman, recently said Arenado is the best third baseman I've ever seen.
Austin Riley ropes one into left field, and that's the first Atlanta hit off Miles Michaelis. It's a 2-out base knock here in the 4th.
Want more stats? Just ask Siri who leads MLB in OPS.
Yeah, we often hear, Mike, about strong up the middle, but about strong in the edges, and that's what the Cardinals are. But look at the Gold Gloves here. Brooks Robinson 16, Schmitty with 10, Arenado 9, and really just getting started.
You had that awesome conversation at Coors Field with him a few years ago, and he told you during that his favorite play to make is that backhand jump throw that we just saw.
And he makes it with tremendous accuracy, and he's got an unbelievable arm. And you know, that's a perfect example of he did not need to do that there, but sometimes it's your favorite and you go to your go-to. But right there you can take an extra step, set your feet, and throw a rocket right to Goldie.
And if you haven't seen that, by the way, I encourage you to check it out. It was, what, 13 minutes of you guys just talking about the finest details of defense at that position, and it's fascinating.
It was fascinating. It was Sunday Night Baseball, and we did it. We had a great time doing it. But it's nice when you get to compare notes with someone who's done it at an even higher level than you've done it.
Travis d'Arnaud vaults this one to center at Dylan Carlson, who ends the bottom of the 4th. First hit for the Braves off Michaelis, but that's it. Arenado and Goldschmidt for the Cards.
Guys, maybe I'm the jinx. Astros and Royals in Houston. I said how good Christian Javier has been for the Astros on the mound. Well, first it was Whit Merrifield. Now it's Hunter Dozier, the 2-run homer. It's 3-0, top of the 1st in Houston.
So that's where, Nicole, they got to send the Twitter complaints, I guess. If you're an Astros fan, it's at RB_MRS. I guess so, right? That's all we could do. We go to the 5th inning here in Atlanta alongside Alex Rodriguez and Buster Olney, Mike Monaco with you. Our entire ESPN crew behind the scenes. It has been as advertised in terms of the pitching so far between Max Fried and Miles Michaelis, as Fried goes back to work against 8-9-1 for St. Louis, starting with Brendan Donovan. Flew to left his first time. Andrew Kisner next. Donovan's had an excellent rookie season. Grounds this one at Orlando Arcia, and there is one away for Fried. Monday, July 18th, coverage of this season's Home Run Derby U. It begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN2 from Dodger Stadium in LA. And Tuesday, July 19th, the 92nd All-Star Game on Fox at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The Derby on the 18th and the All-Star Game on the 19th.
Hey, Mike, isn't it crazy how you see a lot of these front offices, analytics departments say that average and bat and RBIs really don't matter that much. Yet great hitters like Arenado and Goldschmidt, they hit for high average and drive in 100 runs. Don't tell those two guys that those stats don't matter.
Yeah, guys, you saw the Home Run Derby promotion. Alex, I got to ask you about who you want there, because I know this. You got to have Pete Alonso. You got to have Shohei Ohtani. I think you got to have Ronald Acuna Jr., who we saw in the year that he participated. He can take the ball all over the ballpark.
Yeah, I love to see maybe Stanton.
In his hometown, right?
That would be awesome, yes. How about you, Mike? Let me guess, a Red Sox. Mike's from Massachusetts, went to Notre Dame.
Probably booed you.
1,000%. You should see how far we're sitting apart. Not only is he from Massachusetts, he's Notre Dame. So you got the Hurricanes, we have a lot of things working against us, but so far, so good.
Yeah, he asked you for a picture in the break. Wonder what's going to happen with that.
It's on Instagram already.
Pitch is called the strike, and it's 2-2 on Andrew Kisner. Yordan Alvarez would be a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Schwarber.
Yep.
Kyle Schwarber, because if someone's going to beat Pete Alonso, it's going to be someone with experience, someone who has lowered their heart rate the way Pete has in getting used to that event and coming up with a plan.
I tell you, just because you're home, it'll be great to see Mike Trout.
Fouled back on a 2-2 by Kisner. But in all seriousness, talking Red Sox, Rafael Devers, that guy is a boatload of fun in just about everything he does production-wise, and then also all his mannerisms as well.
Mike, you couldn't wait. It took you to the top of the 5th inning to get a Red Sox in. It was just a matter of time. I love it. Got your friends texting you, hey, get some Red Sox in there. Everybody's got some Yankee mention.
Yeah, balance it out, right?
No, but you're right, and he learned so much in the Big Papi. And look, the Cardinals, the Braves, the Red Sox, they're all the same. They're all winners. And one thing I will tell you about Alex Cora, who's one of the finest managers in the game, a Hurricane, Mike, he is going to have that team ready to go, and they're not going anywhere. And you know that front office, when they need something, they're going to go get it.
Run down by Ronald Acuna Jr. at the wall on an Andrew Kisner line drive for the second out for Max Fried here in the top of the 5th.
That's another thing that Michael Harris has done so well for this team. I remember when Dale Murphy was moved from center field. You weren't born yet, Mike. They moved him to right field, and that became his position of comfort. I love to see a superstar player in one position, in one batting order. And that's exactly what Harris has been able to do for Acuna.
And it's also lessened the need to have Adam Duvall in center as well. That's something that Brian Snitker thought a lot about in the offseason and how that was going to play out. So, again, the impact that Harris has made has affected corner outfield spots as well.
I can tell you from a player's perspective, consistency, predictability in the lineup equals better numbers, equals comfort. And that's one thing I love about this Braves team. They're as consistent as any team in baseball. They throw out the same 9 guys out there every day. And Rosario with a much-needed left-handed bat. Much needed in that lineup, especially with Albies hurt right now.
That was one of the reasons they were happy to get him back in there. And he has been penciled in again in left field, flanking Harris and Acuna. 2 outs for Tommy Edman, who singled his last time, also is grounded to third. Ball at 2 strikes against Fried.
Mike, speaking of Notre Dame, what was your major?
So it was called Film, Television, and Theater.
What?
It's basically the closest thing they had to like mass communications.
Okay.
They didn't have a journalism major.
Okay.
Just a minor. I wasn't much of a film guy or a theater guy. So we turned to TV.
I love it. When I saw your resume, I thought you would probably go to like Fordham, like, you know, Rucco and Michael Kay and Vince Scully. But I saw Notre Dame. I said,
or Syracuse.
Or Syracuse. There you go. Yeah. Who were some of the guys that you came up admiring in the broadcast booth?
Oh, man. It is such a long list. And what I will say about this industry, how many people are so willing to help? Pay it forward to the next generation. We've got our great crew here behind the scenes as well. But yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on at all different networks. And what a cool medium where you can just learn by watching, flipping on the TV or dialing up old games on YouTube. Well,
I hope you're not going to tease me. I hope you're going to give me some names when we come back.
That is a big league tease, A-Rod. We welcome you back to Atlanta and Truist Park, where we are halfway through and scoreless between the Cardinals and the Braves. In the third game of this 4-game series, Max Fried and Miles Mikolas have both been excellent. And Mikolas goes back to work, having yielded just 1 hit in 4 innings. Now he faces 6, 7, and 8, starting with Marcell Ozuna, who drives this one to left and gone. The Braves strike first here in the 5th.
And the former Cardinal, Ozuna, with a breaking ball, and he hit it a mile. For Mikolas' first mistake, a hanging breaking ball, and just put it on a tee for Ozuna. Oh, baby. Opened up. Wait, wait, wait. Explode. Very loose before the game. Saw him in the cage, taking some hacks, and he just felt like very free and very happy. Seems like he's in a very good place. And as he told us, I'm beginning to warm up, Poppy, and he's right.
Having some fun with Wash, as he often does on his way in.
I mean, there's a few things this team is not lacking. It's confidence and fun. Oh!
Now Eddie Rosario to right field, and the Braves have gone back-to-back. Ozuna loves it.
.446 feet to Ozuna on a curveball. To Rosario is the slider, 87 miles an hour. Oh, a little changeup. And again, left it on a tee for Rosario. Coming back, a much-needed left-handed bat for the Braves. And then the fun and the excitement after the Cape.
And some admiration from Eddie Rosario with his first big fly of the season. And it comes here in his 3rd game back off the injured list.
And we talked about the confidence and the swagger. You know, when we were around the team this afternoon, Mike, look, there we go, a little fun, little fun. These guys have a lot of fun. It felt more like a college atmosphere, like college guys having fun, a brotherhood. And I got to tell you, this coaching staff does not get enough credit.
Now Orlando Arcia lines one to deep left and run down by Brendan Donovan for the first out after the 2 home runs here in the 5th.
Yeah, you just look around this coaching staff, from Snit to Walt Weiss, Eric Young, Washington, almost 50 years in the game. And what's great about analytics, you also have the human element of the guys that have been through it decades over and over again. This game will bring you to your knees. And sometimes you're crying for help. And when you can look at all this experience that the Braves have collected, it is such a competitive advantage to develop these young players like Acuna, like Albies, like Harris. You know, one thing Snitker told us that was so impressive, he goes, every single one of these guys, even though we didn't hit on the field, they'll be out early with Washington on their knees, catching ground balls, doing their drills. He said, as a matter of fact, Alex and Mike, here's what they did. A few years ago, in game 162, we were going home, and every single guy came out and did it. That's when I knew we had a very special bunch.
And you talked about having fun while you're playing as well. And you were saying this to Ali Marmol, that's something maybe you wish you did a little more of, and that later on in your career, you came back freer.
Oh, there's no question. And you see sometimes the tension that players put on. I was one of those players. Buster knows, he covered me for about 25 years. But pre my suspension, Mike, I was so serious. I was so uptight, so robotic. I thought that winning had to do with contracts and home runs. And once I served my suspension, when I came back, I started I introduced levity into my life. I started not taking myself so seriously. all of a sudden the New York writers weren't as tough on me because I was tougher on myself. And if I was to give my 21-year-old self some advice, it would be, hey, take a chill pill, relax, breathe, and you're good enough.
Well, the Braves enjoying this bottom of the fifth for sure. Back-to-back big flies from Ozuna and then Rosario. Now 2 outs after Michael has stabbed that comebacker from Michael Harris.
Alex, you with the chill pill, you might have been Ronald Acuna Jr. Seriously, in terms of the personality, because he looks like he just has fun.
Oh man, you know, Buster. So I asked the player what makes Acuna. I never finished that story. What makes Acuna so special? He said confidence. And I said, well, give me an example. He said, Bob Gibson, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez, they can come out of retirement. If they're facing Acuna, he goes, you know what? I'm taking them deep. Poppy, maybe 2, maybe 3 times. And Buster, for a young player, there is nothing more vital than that type of confidence. And he matches it with discipline at the plate, runs like a deer, power. He is the total package and has that confidence like another Venezuelan, Miguel Cabrera.
He's getting his 3rd look at Michaelis. Takes upstairs to run it to 1-2 here with 2 outs.
1-2.
Still just 24 years old. Doesn't turn 25 until December. 1-2 pitch. His last foul.
So, Mike, here's a perfect example of a guy who's 24 but has the maturity of 34. He's looking breaking ball here. Breaking ball, breaking ball. Oh, emergency. Let me buy myself another pitch. That's the difference between a guy that's not human and then he takes that pitch beautifully. You see that? So in the pitch before, he told you he's looking for that pitch. He's so quick, he can foul it off. Then he throws a great slider, and he doesn't even budge.
Just spits on a 90-mile-an-hour 2-strike slider down there.
Exactly.
No, are you?
Yeah, you were watching some of Acuna's at-bats this week in the lead-up to this game, and you kept coming back to the patience, the discipline as well.
Yeah, I mean, a couple nights ago, game's 1-0. He lays off, bases loaded, 3 unbelievable sliders, walks. Then Swanson comes up, 3-run double, and before you know it, boom, 6-0.
Well, Michaelis strikes him out here to end the 5th, but not before the damage done by the Braves.
Bomb on the curveball, and then on the changeup, Rosario. 1 to left, and a bomb to right.
The regular season is in full swing and anything can happen. Follow @MLB on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube so you don't miss a thing in 2022. Like back-to-back home runs for the Braves to start the scoring tonight. And they've got a 2-0 advantage on the Cardinals as we go to the 6th. Max Fried back to work, going through the top of the St. Louis lineup for the 3rd time, 2, 3, and 4, beginning with Dylan Carlson. Ball and a strike on Carlson, who has punched out his 2 times against Fried.
And beginning with the Braves, 2 home runs, important for Fried to come down and throw a 0, 2, 3, 4 here.
It's coming off a 1-2-3 5th inning. Misses with the slider.
Yep.
Cardinals trying to get in gear. They've dropped 3 in a row. They've lost 5 of their last 6 and 8 of their last 12. Trying to steady the ship here. Haven't had long starts the first 2 games of this series.
Time.
Mets are losing in Cincinnati. Could see the Braves 1.5 out after this. There were 10 games out just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, how quickly it has changed as Carlson works a walk. He's on in front of Paul Goldschmidt. This is how Max Fried attacked him last time, to your point.
Yeah, Mike, and Goldie hit a double on the 2nd pitch in his first at bat. Now he's thinking soft. Here comes a fastball. Here's another one. Still thinking soft. One more. And now he goes. Here comes a heater. Yacker. Gas, gas, gas. Uncle Charlie. Now the payoff pitch. Let's see what happens in this 3rd at bat.
With the leadoff man on for the first time tonight for the Cardinals. And it's a slider to start out.
So if you're Fried, you've shown fastballs and curveballs. Now first pitch, throw him a slider. You can expect maybe a changeup, some fastball. Now the kitchen sink. This is probably the last time he faces Goldschmidt.
Comes the 0-1. And another swing and a miss. Another slider, and it's 0-2. Saw the note that Goldschmidt has hammered non-fastballs this year, up near 375, highest average on those pitch types in all of baseball.
Choking up a little bit. I love this approach with 2 strikes. Guy with 19 home runs, 65 ribbies, and choking up. The importance of putting the ball in play.
0-2.
Just like that.
On a line to center field. Chokes up. Singles with 2 strikes, and the first 2 are aboard here in the 6th for St. Louis.
Fastball here with a little cut. 0-2, not trying to do too much. Got the big knob on that bat, stays behind it. Well done. The art of hitting still works, is evergreen. Don't let anyone tell you that batting average and RBIs do not matter. They are wrong. If you're a youngster out there, put the ball in play, choke up, get hits, drive in runs, you'll always have a job.
And so now the first 2 are on for the Cardinals. Nobody out here in the 6th. And now it's Nolan Arenado. Flew out to center, then popped to first his first couple of times against Fried. Guy who's been swinging the bat well over his last 5+ games. Started Friday in Philadelphia when he hit for the cycle. A sword there on an elevated fastball.
Only the 2nd swing and miss on a fastball tonight against Fried. Expect him to mix in his changeup now, 2nd, 3rd time around. An effective changeup will make his fastball faster and more effective.
And you said it earlier, Fried, throwing that changeup a whole lot more than he did last year. Fouled off on the breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
Got a little careless on Goldie, had him 0-2 fastball, base it up the middle. Now you got to focus and make a pitch right here. Do not let Arenado back in the count. Put him away right here, right now.
Max Fried, 75 pitches deep here tonight. 1-2 to Arenado. Grounded hard to third. Riley on the backhand, speeds to the base, throws on the run, and it is 2.
Riley made this play look really easy, but it was far from that. A very difficult play. Backhand, tough hop, and then a great internal clock. Steps on the bag, takes an extra step, and throws a strike to Olsen.
Handled that hop, came up a bit on him, and turned it into 2. So now 2 down. Goldschmidt at second, and Juan Yepez the batter. Takes ball 1. Yepez a fly out to left and a line out to second his last time back in the 4th inning. Guy who's got 5 home runs his last 9 games after he had the solo shot here Monday. Laced one down the left field line in the 6th inning to trim the deficit for the Cardinals in that one. He's 5th among rookies in home runs this season. Julio Rodriguez leads the way with 15. Fouled back, 1-1.
Yeah, watch this play here by Riley. Very difficult. Watch his last hop, a tricky hop, a bad hop. But watch the big fella stay with it. Look at all the way into that web. Now he takes his time and he becomes a quarterback, a running quarterback, and a strike to Olsen.
Yeah, you talked with Arenado about playing defense at third as low to high, working your way up.
And that's exactly what Riley did right there.
1-1 is sprayed foul, and it's 1-2 with 2 outs here in the 6th.
A pitcher's best friend, a double play. Now that play right there can actually may be able to take Fried onto the 8th inning. 79 pitches. Yeah, working with Wash pregame. Guys come out every single day. It could be 100 degrees, batting practice, rain, shine. They get their work in every day. The same way Miguel Tejada used to do it with Oakland, Gold Glove. Chavez, Gold Glove. Michael Young. And what they all do, Mike, they give the Gold Glove to Mr. Washington.
Like a metronome with the work they put in. 1-2 pitch is bounced in, kicks away from d'Arnaud. And Goldschmidt advances 90 feet to third.
Big pitch here, big at bat. There's a big difference between 2-0 and 2-1. If you're the Cards, do anything in your power to cut this lead in half.
And the rookie Juan Yepez waiting on a 2-2. Albert Pujols would be next. Fried deals, and Yepez stays alive.
As you fatigue a little bit on a hot night, breaking ball doesn't have quite the same bite. Kind of rolls a little bit more, allows hitters to foul it off.
See what Fried goes back to now after the curve. 2-2 to Yepez, and he strikes him out. Down and away gets Yepez swinging, and the Cardinals threaten but come up empty. Top of the 6th against Max Fried.
All right, Mike, if you're going to have them send me hate mail for jinxing one player, have them send me the love for not jinxing Kyle Schwarber. 16 homers since June 1, 2 last night. Here is another 2-run homer game. It's now 2-1 Phillies, bottom of the 6th.
Nicole, you are impervious to the jinx. We power on. Hey, suit up this summer at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic caps, T-shirts, collectibles, and a whole lot more. Outfit the whole family with your favorite teams gear at MLBshop.com. All right, to the bottom of the 6th inning here in Atlanta. Alongside Alex Rodriguez and Buster Olney, Mike Monaco with you. Our entire crew behind the scenes. Miles Michaelis back to work. 2, 3, and 4, starting with Dansby Swanson. We showed that note off the top, getting set for this ball game tonight. How good Michaelis and Wainwright have been for the Cardinals this season, but beyond that, they've had question marks in the starting rotation, and even more so the way the first couple of games of this series have gone, in particular with Dakota Hudson the other night in the opener here. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out the next few weeks for St. Louis and maybe what they're thinking. 2-1 is down and away, 3 balls and a strike on Swanson.
Yeah, overall, they rank 19th out of 30 teams in starters ERA. You talk with executives with other teams, they really feel like the Cardinals need to be aggressive to add a starting pitcher.
Swanson on a line to left, and Donovan runs it down for the first out. Buster, you said it on the podcast that among contenders, that to you, right, Cardinals and starting pitching is the most glaring need.
No doubt about it, because when you look at the rest of the Cardinals team, you know, the everyday lineup, you love it. You love the depth of the young players, how those guys are being integrated into this everyday lineup. The bullpen has a lot of great pieces, but that rotation, they need more, and they need someone who potentially, as one executive from another team told me, look, they need a guy who can start a game 1 or game 2 of a postseason series, which is why other people are wondering, will they be the club to invest big in Frankie Montas of the Oakland Athletics if he's okay? You guys saw he came out of the start on Sunday. He got a cortisone shot. We'll see where he's at in a few days.
And then there's interesting questions, too, about other teams who maybe have starting pitchers to deal, but would you do that within the division with a team that you face over the course of the year like that?
And that would be the Cincinnati Reds, who, of course, Luis Castillo would be perfect for what the Cardinals need, but would they trade within the division? Could the Cardinals prize someone away there? You know, Jeff Passan also suggesting in the podcast today that who knows, maybe the Reds will look to extend Luis Castillo. This is usually the time of the year, we saw it last week, guys, with Juan Soto, when teams will go to some of these players and say, look, can we work out a deal? And if they don't, that changes the context as to whether or not they'll have a trade conversation.
You know, Buster's interesting. In the day and age of tanking or rebuilding or whatever you want to call it, the Cardinals are a team that never take that approach. They're always competing for a world championship. They're never rebuilding. They're always retooling. And it's been that way for many, many decades. And that's one thing as a player. When you come to St. Louis, you know you're going to be competing for a championship. And when the move needs to be made, the Cardinals will make it.
Good breaking ball there from Miles Michaelis, and he strikes out Matt Olson. 4th K for Michaelis, and there's 2 gone here in the 6th.
Meet Ultimate Hybrid, advanced ceramic and wax technology. The best of both worlds, but better. Only from Mothers.
Well, 2 outs here, and it brings up Austin Riley, who singled his last time and is also grounded to second. Now, the other news item, Cardinals pitching-wise, is that Steven Matz, who, of course, signed the 4-year, $44 million deal in the offseason, he's only made 9 starts, been on the IL with the shoulder issue. He's going to make another rehab outing tomorrow in AAA on his road back.
And they have Jack Flaherty as well, but of course, with a number of these guys, you just don't know what you're going to get, guys.
Yeah, it was a couple of Sundays ago that Flaherty left his 3rd start of the season. That outing against the Cubs. Remember, he was on the shelf the first 10 weeks of the year as well. A couple of years for him now of battling injury.
Time.
And we were chatting with Ollie today, and Buster asked him for injury updates. He said, I think our entire team is with Memphis in AAA. But they hope to be getting some good news soon on a lot of these guys. Tyler O'Neill has been playing full-length games in his rehab stint this week.
And of course, Flaherty, class teammates in high school with Max Fried at Westlake Harvard in LA.
Yeah, pretty good company, and a story that's been well documented, and guys that you sat down with, right, once upon a time out there in California.
Yeah, when they were youngsters coming up, Alex Bregman put this big group together, had the big 3 from Westlake Harvard, and from the get-go, great attitude, determined.
Riley strokes one to left center and digs for 2, and he's got a 2-out double here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, get a little cutter right here, out over the plate. Riley, an excellent breaking ball hitter, the best on this team, and a hustle double for Riley in the chop.
Boy, he's swinging a good bat recently as well. Last 6 games coming into tonight, he was 12 for his last 24 with a half dozen extra base hits. Last night was 3 for 4, had a 2-run homer. And now he has hits in 2 trips over the last 3 innings. 84 pitches for Michaelis, and Andrew Kisner strolls out to the mound. This fan base has had a lot to cheer about since the start of June. Best team in baseball in that time. They've got a 2-0 lead here on the Cardinals and threatening for some more with 2 outs and Riley in scoring position. And the batter, Travis d'Arnaud, who has walked and flown out to center against Michaelis so far. Oh, 1. The 1-1 pitch on a line to right, tailing toward the line. Long way to go for Yepes, and that's a foul ball into the first row. You talked about it from the Cardinals' perspective. The Braves, meanwhile, offensively, 2 outs, 2 strikes, especially when they've been in this hot stretch. They've done serious damage.
1-2.
Yeah, nothing hurts more than these grinded long at bats, 2-out hits, 2 strikes, 2 outs. They just chip away, chip away.
And a 1-2 on a line left field. The Braves do it again. d'Arnaud scores Riley from second, and Atlanta adds on. It's 3-0 here in the 6th.
And for Michaelis is that slow breaking ball, 76 miles an hour, right over the top. That does him in. Darno waits and explode. Another 2 out, 2 strikes. RBI double. And the chop.
That'll bring out Mike Maddox, the 5th-year pitching coach. Boy, right on cue, the Braves offense doing what they have done now over the second quarter of the season. And again, as you said, a breaking ball doing Michaelis in. Well, a run of insurance here in the 6th after the back-to-back home runs. Mother's polish. Time to shine for the Braves in the 5th. They did not get cheated on either one.
And for Michaelis, backed up into a corner here. A little bit of a conundrum with Osuna, who homered on the curveball, and Rosario on deck, who homered on the changeup. So pick your poison.
So he starts with a fastball, now facing Ozuna.
So if you're Osuna, you're eliminating the curveball, certainly curveball for strike. So fastball in, cutters away.
Eliminating it because you know he has struggled with it and given up damage the last couple of innings?
No, because the last time he threw your curveball, he hit it 4,000 miles. And pitchers have a short memory, and so do hitters. But one of the things that Pedro Martinez would do is you hit a curveball for a home run, and next at bat, you're thinking eliminated, first pitch curveball right at you. And he's basically saying, hey, don't you eliminate anything against me. El Duque was the same way.
Well, fastball to start.
Here's another one.
At 0-2. And he elevated it at 93.
I mean, these are kind of things that you have to pay attention, right? You pay attention to the game. The game has a certain rhythm. It's chess, not checkers. So very simple. Last pitch you saw, breaking ball, he hit it 4,000 miles. Now he comes back with 3 fastballs in a row. If you pay attention, the game will tell you what comes next. So will the scoreboard.
Michaelis trying to escape here in the 6th with a man at second. Another fastball came in, and he got Ozuna to pop it up. Kisner locates it and ends the inning. So all fastballs this time from Miles Michaelis against Ozuna as predicted. But another run for the Braves, and the lead is 3 after 6 in Atlanta. Albert Pujols will lead it off for the Cardinals here in the 7th with work to do. He already has a couple of hits in this ball game, a single back in the 2nd and a double in the 4th for the legend, one of the greatest this sport has ever seen. 6, 7, and 8 coming for the Cardinals, who are happy to see Max Fried gone. After 82 pitches, 6 shutout innings, Darren O'Day takes over. So right on right for Pujols, and strike 1 with that fastball from that slot for O'Day.
Yeah, tough for a bat here for Pujols. 2 for 2 off Fried. O'Day 2 pitches, fastball up and slider like that.
He's only given up on his 4-seam fastball 1 extra base hit on it all season. It was a double. He gets a lot of swing and miss on it. A lot of his strikeouts.
I'll tell you, Mike, there's one guy that watching him, I'm in a slump up here. I couldn't touch this guy if he told me what's coming. I had the hardest time seeing O'Day.
The 39-year-old dealing to the 42-year-old Albert Pujols.
Great clubhouse guy, one of Buck Showalter's favorite in Baltimore. Led that very, very good Baltimore Oriole bullpen that Showalter put together. And every night, Mike, 3 nights a day, whether it's Baltimore, Camden Yards, or Yankee Stadium, I saw him 3 nights in a row.
Pujols fights this one toward third, and Riley retreats for the first out. O'Day taking over for Max Fried, who was really effective in this one. Max Fried is down there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
In Braves land.
That was Kyle Wright, who's a Vanderbilt guy, so I know what he looks like.
We had to have a Vandy mention. You got another guy, a shortstop, your other guy?
Flush.
Yeah, yeah.
Slow roller off the bat of Edmundo Sosa, and Orlando Arcia on the move for the second out. We're talking through some of the pitchers with some of the Braves position players today, and Quadzilla, that was another one I picked up in the Spanish from Marcelo Zuna, talking about Spencer Strider, who goes in the finale tomorrow, and boy, has he been a ton of fun this season.
Mike, we were talking down there with Osuna for like 30 minutes, and I've never seen a guy listen so carefully. And I thought you knew perfect Spanish. I was very impressed by your listening skills.
He looked at me after, what, 10 minutes? He goes, you speak Spanish? And I was like, no, not very well.
And then he continued to speak Spanish for the next 20 minutes.
Yep. It was good on-the-job training for me. 2 down, and Brendan Donovan, the batter. A fly out to left and a ground out to second for a guy who is one of the great personalities on this Cardinals team. Oliver Marmol was telling us that today, that every championship team has a guy who's just a grinder, and personality-wise, he is unafraid. And that, for them, is the 25-year-old Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, good-looking young player.
Made his big league debut in late April on a 1-1.
That got him.
Clips him, yep. So a 2-out base runner for the Cardinals here in the 7th, trailing by 3.
Little slider here. Just got to round it a little bit. Best way to get on base, little 79-mile-an-hour slider.
Little glancing blow.
Yeah.
Donovan, a guy who has walked a ton. He's been hit by a lot of pitches as well. And that's how he gets aboard here in front of Andrew Kisner, who was flown out to center and lined out to right. Worked a couple of full counts against Fried. Another righty-righty matchup for Darren O'Day, who's been lethal against righties this year.
You know, Alex Anthopoulos brings the veteran O'Day, and what a great compliment the way you construct this bullpen with all the lefties, power lefties. What do you want to do against lefties? Stack up righties, and then here comes O'Day, who's dominant and has always been dominant against righties.
You hear some managers nowadays talk about bullpen construction like in terms of the hours on a clock, and if you have arm slots from different angles from both sides, that is really difficult for opposing ball clubs in their offense.
Yeah, it makes sense. As a hitter, what you want is, we talked about it, predictability, consistency. As you construct a bullpen, you want exact opposite of that. You want to disrupt that.
Well, O'Day strikes out Kisner and leaves a man here in the 7th. We hit the stretch in Atlanta. The Braves lead the Cardinals 3-0. Bottom of the 7th inning, Braves up 3-0 on the Cardinals. It's 0-1 on Adam Duvall, who's the pinch hitter for Eddie Rosario against a new pitcher for St. Louis. The young lefty Zach Thompson takes over for Miles Michaelis. Gets a fly ball toward left center field. Carlson on the move, back at the wall, reaches up and makes the catch. Wow.
What an unbelievable play. Duvall pinch hitting, a few feet away from a home run. And you got to go a long ways right here. It helps that he's lefty. Perfect presence, aware of the wall, and the catch. Wow.
Feet first, hang on, present it, and hang a star right next to that one.
Indeed, Cardinals defense strikes again.
They've been really good defensively. Top 10 in Major League Baseball in defensive runs saved this year. You talked about all the Gold Gloves in their history, in particular last year as well. And that's got to feel good for Zach Thompson.
It's a nice way to come in. You think it's a home run, and it's one out. Here we go. Zach Thomas, fastball, curveball, changeup, and a slider. The former wild card from Kentucky.
He gets Orlando Arcia to fly out to right. So a couple of fly ball outs here for Thompson, taking over for Michaelis, who gave up the 3 runs in 6 innings. Well, brings up the youngster, Michael Harris. Told the youngest player in Major League Baseball. He was born 6 days after Wander Franco. And Albert Pujols, the oldest. So yeah, about a month after Harris was born, big league debut for Albert Pujols.
Yeah, and a tremendous find by the Braves scouting department. Snicker was telling us today before the game a lot of teams were interested in him as a pitcher, but the Braves were defiant. They knew him as an outfielder. They loved his arm, his athleticism, and also made a really nice adjustment. Very coachable by dropping his hands a little bit, has increased his production.
Yeah. Brian Snicker said he's been synonymous with us winning over the last month and change. Grounds out, though, against Thompson, who works a 1-2-3 7th inning.
It has been a Shohei kind of night for the Angels against the Marlins. A bases-loaded 2-run single when he was at the plate and then on the mound, doing some damage as well. Shohei Ohtani, the 3rd straight game with 10 strikeouts. His damage in 7 innings did not allow a run, so 28 2/3 innings without allowing a run. The Angels had a comfortable lead.
All right, Nicole, he was going up against Trevor Rogers in Miami in that one. And here in Atlanta, we go to the 8th inning, and Jesse Chavez takes over for Darren O'Day. Worked a scoreless 7th, and the veteran Chavez comes on to get 1, 2, and 3 in the Cardinals lineup, starting with Tommy Edman.
Chavez, 38 years old, fastball, cutter, slider, change. Great competitor, strike thrower, keeps the ball down. for ground balls and looks for the punch out top of the zone.
There's a punch out fading away from Tommy Edman. Chavez, via the strikeout, has out number 1.
And a great changeup here. Pulls the string, starts a strike, and fades away.
Yeah, you mentioned Chavez, a strike thrower. 67% of the time, it's a first pitch strike from him. That's the best rate he's done that in his entire career. And it's his 15th year in the big leagues. Now Dylan Carlson takes, strike 1.
And for the young fellas out there that are playing baseball, the youth, the young generation, you don't have to throw 98 or 99. You can still throw 92, 88, mix it in, mix it out, change speeds like that. And a really nice pace.
He's ahead 0-2 on Carlson, who walked his last time and made that fine catch last inning in left center. Strike 3 called. 92. Carlson thought it was in. Instead, it's back-to-back strikeouts for Jesse Chavez.
The first strikeout with the changeup fading away. And this time, the front hit fastball. Come back. Came back. Strike 3.
And strike 1 to Paul Goldschmidt, who, if you got to face this guy, this is the way you want to do it. 2 outs, base is empty.
Exactly.
That's his first ball after 7 strikes and a couple of strikeouts. You don't want to jinx it, but you start thinking about it.
Where there's nothing better than playing behind a guy like Chavez, throwing strikes, good pace, assertive, pitching, adding, subtracting, in, out.
Is 1-2. It's a slow roller, foul at home plate. Yeah, that's what Jesse Chavez has done throughout his career. Both teams with 5 hits in this game. But the Cardinals still held scoreless into this 8th inning. 1-2. 2-2 pitch. And a full count worked by Goldschmidt. He had a 2-strike single his last time in the 6th. That put 2 on for Nolan Arenado, who would be next. 3-2 is ball 4. And Goldschmidt gets aboard here with 2 outs in the 8th inning in front of Arenado.
It's a good matchup here for the Cardinals. Arenado loves to hit strikes. Chavez, a strike thrower. Chavez tougher against lefties because of that cutter and changeup.
We'll see how they pitch. Arenado, a guy who has just pounded fastballs this season. They started with a 2-seamer that clips the edge for strike 1. That 5-3 double play ball came off Arenado's bat his last time. Ball and a strike. Chavez delivers the 1-1. That's outside. 2 balls and a strike to Arenado.
So every pitch, all 3 have been away. 1 fastball for a strike, 2 cutters away. If you're Arenado, you can basically eliminate anything middle in. Get right on top of the plate and make that outside pitch, make it right down the middle, and think dead central.
Smacks this one to left field, a base hit. Arenado singles. He's got his first hit of the ball game, and the Cardinals will bring the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning.
And Mike, we talked about away, 3 in a row. Here comes the 4th one. Black. Arenado all over it, leaning out over the plate, snorkeling out over the plate. And Chavez lucky he got that ball back.
You saw 3 out there, and you just trust that he wants to go right back to that spot.
He is telling you where he wants to go. Believe him. Now, one swing of the bat here can tie the ball game up.
And the batter is Wadi Yepez. 0 for 3, a fly out to left, a line out to second, and a strikeout. And again away from Chavez with ball 1.
And the mistake for Chavez here is not the base hit against Nolan Arenado, it's the walk against Goldie. Even if he hits you solo, that's not going to beat you. Now you put it in a position where one pitch, one swing can tie it up.
Yepez fouls this one off to make it 1-1. Yepez, a guy who's got reverse splits, so he has struggled more against lefties than he has against righties. He's got 10 of his 11 home runs this year against right-handed pitching. We talked about how he was licking his chops to go up against the organization that traded him 5 years ago. Fouls this one back, and it's 1-2. The Cardinals have had traffic on the base paths in 7 of 8 innings, but so far with nothing to show for it. Threatening here in the 8th. 2 on, 2 out, down by 3. The 1-2. Outside, 2-2 on Yepez.
If you're Chavez, you want to get him right here 2-2. You do not want to make it 3-2 and give these runners a starting break, because all of a sudden a double makes it 3-2 or even a long single. Get him right here.
2-2. Outside, and it is a full count on Wadi Yepez.
That will release the runners, takes the force out away at second, force out away at third.
With Goldschmidt at second, Arenado at first. Payoff pitch inside, ball 4, and the Cardinals have him loaded. And they will pinch hit for Albert Pujols with Nolan Gorman. Instead of right on right, the lefty Gorman will bat here in the top of the 8th inning. And out comes Rick Kranitz. Boy, first 7 pitches were strikes. Couple of punch outs of Edman and Carlson, and then walk, single, walk from Chavez since. Dylan Lee, the lefty, is up in the Braves' pen.
Not often you get to see a rookie pinch hitting for a Hall of Famer and a guy who has 15 Grand Slams.
Something you know a little bit about. And yeah, a 20-year age gap as well between Gorman hitting for Albert Pujols. First pitch. Just misses with a fastball. Gorman got The Cardinals on the board first last night, top of the first inning with an RBI single. Grounds this one right at the second baseman, Arcia, who is up with it, and Chavez dances around danger in the 8th inning. It remains 3-0 Braves over the Cardinals into the bottom of the 8th after St. Louis threatened but did not capitalize at the top of the 8th inning. Hey, Monday, July 18th, coverage of this season's Home Run Derby begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN2 from Dodger Stadium. And then Tuesday, July 19th, the 92nd All-Star Game is on Fox at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Well, top of the order on the way for the Braves, starting with Ronald Acuna Jr. And Ollie Marmol goes back to the pen for the right-hander, Giovanni Gallegos.
Yeah, the 30-year-old fastball slider change. Veteran. Cardinals with their best opportunity that half inning.
They brought up Gorman to bat there for Pujols and hit it pretty hard, just right on the ground at the second baseman, Arcia. So we got Home Run Derby, we got All-Star Game on the way, we got another K-Rod cast coming up.
Yankees, Red Sox. We have Billy Crystal coming to the studio. Bob Costas, I'm hearing rumors, may come back.
He loved it that much.
He loved it. His iPhone ran out of battery. So I did my best Buster only reporting if I was only so lucky. And Bob texted me because I asked him a question and then he gave me the answer via text. There you go. It was a fun show. But
so he wasn't at 100% battery when it started.
When he started, it was at 7%. And then we knew it was done when he just blacked out.
Can we get Mr. Costas a charger? Was the live conversation. That misses just north of the zone. 3-0 the count on Acuna. Some kind of season the Yankees have had with what they have done, and the Red Sox playing better, but still it is 13 games going into tonight separating those two atop the AL East.
You know, don't forget, Mike, that last year, the Cubs and the Braves had similar records.
Acuna in the air to right center. Carlson goes back and makes the catch. One away.
Baseball's dead? Come on. It's never been more exciting, and it's about to get even better. Bet just $5 to get $150 automatically, win or lose. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make it rain.
Yeah, let's not forget, the Braves were playing around 500 ball, and their best player goes down. What did Alex Anthopoulos do? He went in the opposite direction. He went out and got Jock Peterson, Duvall, George Soler, and went on a run with 88 wins as the underdog all year, won the World Series. And here they are poised again as the underdog with the Mets having all the headlines. And trust me, that is a confident team down there. They told us so, but they don't have to say it. They walk around, you feel it in that clubhouse. And there is zero intimidation for this Braves team. They're ready for the Mets.
You can feel that, right, as a player? Like when you don't feel like you're being talked as much as maybe you feel like you've earned?
Well, yeah, and what's amazing is you don't know if it's 95, 205. You still feel somewhere in Citi Field they'll be saying Chipper, Chipper. But Chipper, Klesko, they were confident, and this bunch is confident against the Mets. And that rivalry, it's hard to break that. The Braves have dominated the Mets for a long time.
And they can put up that all around the park after what they did last fall.
Yeah, I marvel at the Braves. They run such a rock-solid organization. People forget that the Cubs and the Braves had exactly the same record when the Cubs decided to go tear it down and rebuild, and Alex Anthopoulos went out and got 4 players to help him win a championship. So it's not a given. So when Alex Anthopoulos rolls the dice and pays off, you got to give that organization a ton of credit.
Yeah, it's got to feel good in the clubhouse as well when you sense what the front office is doing. Dansby Swanson with a fly out to right. 2 down for Giovanni Gallegos here in the bottom of the 8th inning, trying to keep the deficit at 3 for the Cardinals before they come up in the top of the 9th with 3 outs left to play with. Here's Matt Olson.
What you guys just talked about is a really important point. I remember talking to some of the Braves players after those trades were made last year. You know, we hear all the time evaluators will talk about players' effort. Well, in this case, how about the front office effort? And that's what the players really responded to, as if, hey, you know what, these guys believe in us.
That's exactly right, Buster. And when you're a player talking from personal experience and a front office does that, you get a jolt of energy. You're saying, wait a minute, our front office, our family believes in us. Let's go out and make it pay off. And that's exactly what the Braves did. Energized this place. And I got to tell you, being here in October, being at every World Series game, I've never seen a better atmosphere than what Atlanta has built right here in this stadium.
Off the end of the bat, up the middle, tough ranging play. Arenado spins, and he throws out Olson with a gem. 1, 2, 3, 4 Gallegos in the bottom of the 8th, helped out by his third baseman.
The third baseman looking more like the wizard, Ozzie Smith, my hero.
Braves Cardinals in just a second, but first an update on the Pirates and the Yankees. The Pirates brought the infield in, and DJ LeMahieu made them pay. 2-run score. Yankees have a 2-0 lead in Pittsburgh.
All right, Nicole, thanks a lot. We do welcome you back for Cardinals Braves here in Atlanta. A.J. Minter takes over. He's had an excellent season, one of the best relievers in all of baseball, and he will try to finish it off for Atlanta.
Yeah, and he is the total package. Power fastball, power cutter, slider, and now adding a little bit of a changeup if the first two weren't enough.
Facing 7-8-9 for the Cardinals, down by 3 with 3 outs left to work with, starting with Edmundo Sosa. And it's a ball and a strike on the Cardinals shortstop. 0 for 3 so far. Fly out to right and a couple of ground outs. Remember, still no Kenley Jansen for the Braves. So it's been some Will Smith and some A.J. Minter in save spots for Brian Snitker recently. Fouled back 1-2. More good news, by the way, from Brian Snitker chatting with us pregame on Kenley Jansen. They expect to have him back when he's eligible. Come off the IL next week.
Sounds like he's making progress.
Always good to hear with the heart. 1-2's count out and miss. 97 from Minter. Blows away Sosa, and there's one away. Hey, the MLB All-Star Game starters announcement show tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Then the full rosters announced Sunday at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, right before baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. Both of those on ESPN and the app, and the All-Star Game, of course, July 19th at Dodger Stadium. So 2 outs left to play with for St. Louis, and the batter is Brendan Donovan. Takes low, ball 1. A fly out and a ground out, and then hit by that pitch his last time. Minter's 1-0. There's a strike. Bottom corner of the zone.
Minter a handful against all, but 2 for 32 against lefties. Whew.
Left on left with the 4-seamer, the cutter you mentioned, and then some changeups as well. 1-1. He had a stretch from late April until the middle of June where he went 22 appearances, A.J. Minter did, without an earned run. Tons of strikeouts, very few walks. He gets a ton of chase. 2-1. Line left field, base hit. Donovan singles left on left. So there's just the 3rd left on left hit against Minter this season, and a 1-out base runner for the Cardinals. And coming up next, it's SportsCenter with McGee and Anderson. Star of the game from this one will join the show. Baker Mayfield on the move, got dealt today, and how Rafa fought his way to the semifinals at Wimbledon.
Hey, Mike, if you're the Cards here, you should have 1 goal and 1 goal only. Get the big guy up there, Goldschmidt. Get him a chance to pop one.
Right now, the 9 spot, Andrew Kisner, who's 0 for 3 so far. Yeah, boy, if you can flip that lineup over and get into the heart of it, just like you did back in the 8th inning. 1 out, 1 on. Minter's 1-0. Bottom of the zone, 97. Goldie hopes for a chance. 1-1. On the ground towards short. Swanson turns it. Arcia's throw in time for 2. And that does it. 6-4-3 to cap a Braves win over the Cardinals.
And Mike, the Braves continue their excellence. Good pitching, good defense, couple of home runs. And creeping up on the New York Mets.
They inch closer, played in a tidy 2:32. Final score once again, the Braves 3, the Cardinals nothing. Reminder, on Sunday we'll have Yankees and Red Sox. Coming up next, it's Sports Center. For Alex Rodriguez, Buster Olney, our producer Joe McCoy, director Ben Johnston, and our entire crew behind the scenes, Mike Monaco saying so long from Atlanta after the Braves take down the Cards.
Oh, from the house that Dansby built to the ESPN Studio Sports Center to the max and JA. Here until midnight, we have no shortage of stuff to fill the show.
Let's do it. We have a lot of baseball to go.
Let's go. Best stuff in the big leagues. And tell you what happened as we get ready. Austin Riley's going to join the show shortly. Start with the Cubs and the Brewers. Top 5 scoreless game. P.J. Higgins drills one to left. Look at Hera. Keston Hera going back. Hera, Pronter! Right there at the wall, and he gets a full face full of chain link or whatever they got there. Ow, but you know what he's got? He got the ball in hand. Corbin Burns. That's my quarterback. Happy about that one. Hera not injured on the play. As he'd show you, get up there, bang, bottom half of the inning. Hera, get out. Behold the power of cheese. Smashes that one. See, if you just hit it farther, then the guy can't run into the fence and get it. Ding the bell and let's go. And Colton Wong is just cuckoo right there. Look at him again. He's mimicking what his man Hera did in that thing. So that's all really fun until the Cubs won 2-1.
All right, Phil's Nationals. Kyle Schwarber, this guy is seeing the ball as big as a beach ball. 26 on the year. Remember, he had 32 all of last season. That one's hit to Marlton. Picking up right where he left off, and his teammates in the dugout, they tipped their cap. Rightfully so. And Schwarber, he's not done. You know why? Because he's back in the bottom of the 6th, looking for more damage. Off-speed, fastball, really doesn't matter. 38 is a career high for Schwarber. He's given himself a run for his own money. Becomes the first Phillies player with consecutive 2-run home run games since Chase Utley did in 06. Well, full highlights on the way, of course.
And putting off dinner and a shower for a couple minutes to be on SportsCenter, Austin Riley's joining us. And first off, Austin, I think a couple of minutes, but because you played so fast, do you have like a half hour you could give us here?
I can if you need it.
All right, we may delve into hunting, deer, and turkey, but for now, let's talk about the ball game. Tell me why some games go 2.5 and some games go 4.
Well, you got a pitcher like Max on the mound for us, and a guy like Miles on their team. You know, two really good pitchers right there, just battling it right there. And you know, just a good clean ball game. You know, defense made plays. You know, 2 really good swings by Rosario and Ozuna right there. So you know, just a clean game.
It is 3 wins in a row over the Cardinals. That's a really good squad, but you guys have been playing so well the last month, the last 5 weeks. Why? What's turned that you guys have been spectacular over the last 33 games and have 27 wins?
You know, I think we're playing our game. You know, each and every one of us, you know, we're not trying to do too much. I felt like early on that's kind of, you know, the way we were playing. You know, we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves of just trying to do too much. And right now I think we're just, you know, passing it along to the next guy. You know, if we could do that, you know, we give ourselves a chance. Our pitching's doing an outstanding job, you know, putting up good at-bats. And I think that's you know, giving us the confidence to continue, you know, day in and day out.
So this great hot streak you have has pulled you really close to the Mets. I know you got to take care of your business, but how much are you peeking at what they're doing?
You know, for sure, you take a look at the box scores every night. But at the end of the day, you know, Wash always says, you know, we gotta play our game. You know, like I just said, and take care of, you know, our business and see where we're at the end of this thing. You know, if we do that, I like our chances. You know, the Mets are a really good ball club. We are too. So it's going to be fun, you know, down the stretch.
Late in this game, in like one of the 30-second breaks between outs you guys were putting up, there was a great shot of the banner that's up on the light stanchion that says World Champion Braves. What's it mean when you walk into the stadium and you see that thing every day?
You know, it's awesome. To be a part of that last year was, you know, something I'll never forget and never take for granted. You know, to walk in and know that you, like I said, you're a part of that is very humbling. And you know, we're hungry for another one, and we're looking to do that. Like I said, this squad is really good, and we believe in ourselves, and that's what we're looking forward to doing later on.
Talked about the 2 swings of the bat that gave you home runs. You have 21 on your own, and after you get called up your rookie season, your second season because of COVID goes all haywire. Last year's your first like full season as a big leaguer. What's it like to get settled and now have those 21 home runs and feel like an everyday Major League Baseball player?
You know, it's nice. You know, I think when I got called up, you know, and I went through that cold stretch, I put a lot of pressure on myself, kind of panicked a little bit, you know. I was like, I got to do something. I got to do something. And now it's like, you know, after last year, you know, you go through the slumps because it happens. It's 162 games. You know you're going to go through it. It's just like a matter of just like, hey, trust the process, trust your work, trust your routine, and know that you're going to come out of that. And I think that's what's given me the confidence, you know, to continue to you know, day in and day out, put up, you know, good at bats and play defense. And like I said, the help from Wash and our hitting coaches is, you know, I give them all the credit.
You played really well this season. Let's talk about Dansby Swanson. That guy's been killer since the 1st of June. He took the collar tonight, but just the play of that veteran shortstop.
You know, it's been awesome. You know, I've learned so much from him. You know, our lockers are right next to each other. We talk all the time. And you know, he's always trying to get every day. You know, he does his homework. He works hard. And he competes. You know, I think the biggest thing is he wants to win no matter what. It doesn't matter if he's 0 for 4, 4 for 4. It's, you know, if we win, that's all that matters to him. And I think it's showing. And you know, he's having a phenomenal season. He deserves to be, you know, in the All-Star game for sure. And I'm happy for him.
Heck of a family man, too. Real quick, how fast are we playing tomorrow with Spencer Strider on the mound?
Ooh, I hope a quick one. It's very hot here, if you can't tell. So I'm hoping for a quick one.
All right, and I promised a hunting question. I'm going to let you go, but we have extra time because you played fast. If I go with you, do I want to hunt a turkey or do I want to go after a deer?
I'm saying a deer. Nothing like the adrenaline rush of getting a deer, no doubt. So okay. That's my choice.
We going public land? We going fenced in? We getting a tree stand?
Ooh, no,
what do you want to do?
Fenced in. We'll go. We'll find a spot pretty good, but not public land and not a fenced in for sure.
Perfect. Thank you, Austin Riley. I'm going to go wash his suit and scent of dough, so I'll be ready to go when we go hunting. Thanks, brother.
There you go. I like it.
Talk about everything here on SportsCenter. Coming up, it's showtime in Miami as Shohei Ohtani goes for his 5th straight win on the bump for the Angels. Full highlights next.